The nursery business has been playing a quiet game with your money for years. Every spring, they fill their shelves with plants that demand your time, your water, and your attention, because that cycle is exactly how they stay profitable. But today, you are going to learn 9 perennials that return faithfully every single year, demand almost zero from you, and still make your outdoor space look completely stunning. These are the plants sitting quietly in the corner of every garden center, while the high-maintenance varieties get all the spotlight. If this channel is new to you and nobody has ever given you genuinely honest plant advice before, that changes right now. Hit that subscribe button. Because every week this channel delivers exactly this kind of real practical information completely free of charge. Plant number 1. Brunnera Jack of Diamonds, Brunnera Jack of Diamonds. Picture the shadiest, most forgotten corner of your property, that spot under the old tree where nothing seems to want to grow. Most homeowners walk past it, feel mildly guilty, throw some mulch down, and move on. The local nursery is perfectly happy with that outcome because it means you keep coming back every spring, trying something new and failing again. Brunnera Jack of Diamonds was practically designed for exactly that situation. This perennial produces large heart-shaped leaves decorated with a stunning silver overlay that actually catches and reflects light even in genuinely dark garden spaces. In early spring, delicate sky blue flowers float above that remarkable foliage, creating a combination that looks curated, intentional, and frankly expensive. Without costing you anything beyond the initial purchase, this plant performs reliably across USDA zones 3 through 8, covering gardeners from the frigid upper Midwest all the way through the Mid-Atlantic and Carolinas. Once it settles into your soil, it develops genuine drought tolerance, handles stretches of neglect without punishing you for them, and naturally forms a clean, rounded clump without requiring any shaping, dividing, or seasonal fuss. Plant it beneath mature trees, along north-facing fences, or in any shaded border that has been defeating you for years. Be honest in the comments right now. Do you have a shaded corner in your yard that you have completely surrendered to? Drop your answer below because I am willing to bet you are not alone in this. Plant number 2. Geranium Biokovo. Geranium X Cantabrigense Biokovo. Before you assume you already know what geraniums are, pause for just a moment. The bright red flowering plants you see packed into every porch planter and parking lot container every single spring. Those are actually pelargoniums. They are annuals. They die when cold arrives. You purchase them again the following year. The cycle repeats. The garden center profits. Your bank account does not. True hardy geraniums are an entirely different conversation, and Geranium Biokovo is one of the most impressive members of that family available to American gardeners today. It is cold hardy across USDA zones 4 through 8 and returns completely on its own every single spring without you replanting, repurchasing, or even thinking about it. Late spring brings a flush of soft pink to nearly white flowers so delicate and refined that visitors will genuinely ask which landscape company you hired. Summer keeps the fine-textured foliage looking clean and full. Autumn delivers a warm reddish color shift across the leaves, essentially giving you 2 completely separate seasons of visual interest from one plant purchase. Here is the practical detail that makes this plant genuinely valuable for problem areas. It spreads at a steady, controlled pace into a natural ground cover that crowds out weeds organically. That bare, weed-prone soil between your foundation shrubs? Geranium Biokovo covers it, fills it, and makes it disappear. It tolerates partial shade. It manages dry soil. It handles the kind of low-attention gardening that most ornamental plants simply cannot survive. Most gardeners are not struggling because they lack skill. They are struggling because the wrong plants were placed in their hands from the very beginning. This channel exists to correct that. Subscribe now because today is only the starting point. Plant number 3. Allium Serendipity. Allium Serendipity. There is a specific window in the American gardening calendar, roughly mid-July through early August, when most yards simply fall apart. Spring bloomers are long finished. Early summer perennials have faded. The heat is relentless and the garden suddenly looks exhausted, colorless, and half dead. Most gardeners accept this as an unavoidable seasonal reality. They assume summer heat is just brutal on gardens and there is nothing practical to do about it. That assumption is only correct if the wrong plants are in the ground. Allium Serendipity was built specifically to perform during that difficult window when everything else around it is giving up. While your other perennials are struggling in July heat, this plant produces perfectly rounded lavender-pink flower heads sitting neatly above compact grassy foliage. The overall effect is structured, modern, and completely intentional, the kind of visual detail that makes a garden look professionally designed. It grows reliably across USDA zones 4 through 9, covering an enormous portion of the continental United States. It is simultaneously drought-tolerant, deer-resistant, and pest-resistant, a combination that most gardeners spend years searching for. Established plants form tight, well-controlled clumps that never require staking, never need dividing, and never invade neighboring plants. When blooms eventually fade, the dried seed heads hold their elegant structure well into autumn, extending your garden season without requiring a single additional action from you. Does your yard hit that dead zone in July where you stop going outside to enjoy it? Tell me honestly in the comments. I want to understand exactly how widespread this problem actually is. Plant number 4, Penstemon Husker Red. Penstemon digitalis Husker Red. This plant earned the Perennial Plant of the Year award. It is also a plant that most American homeowners have never encountered, and that gap between recognition and deserved reputation tells you everything you need to know about how garden center shelf space actually gets decided. What fills those shelves is whatever needs replacing every season, whatever brings you back annually with money to spend. Penstemon Husker Red does not fit that model, and the industry's quiet indifference to it is entirely intentional. This is a North American native perennial, evolved in American soil, shaped by American weather, naturally suited to American garden conditions. It does not require special treatment because this continent is genuinely its home territory. In early summer, it sends up tall, graceful flower spikes carrying white to pale pink blooms above deep burgundy foliage. The contrast between those dark leaves and those light flowers is genuinely striking. Refined, expensive-looking, and completely effortless to achieve. Established plants handle heat, drought, poor soil, and neglect with calm, quiet reliability. Cold hardy across USDA zones 3 through 8, it returns stronger and fuller every single year. It draws hummingbirds and pollinators consistently without feeders, without supplements, without any effort beyond planting it and stepping back. Plant it in sunny borders, combine it with ornamental grasses, or run it along a fence line where it will completely transform the character of that space. Still watching but not yet subscribed? Think about this honestly. You came looking for real plant information that actually applies to real American gardens. You found it. This arrives every single week. All you need to do is subscribe and it comes directly to you. Make that simple decision right now. Plant number 5, Aralia Sun King. Aralia cordata Sun King. If you have a heavily shaded section of your property and you have quietly accepted that it will never look good, this plant is about to completely reframe how you see that space. Aralia Sun King produces enormous glowing chartreuse gold leaves so bold and luminous that they genuinely brighten shaded areas from within. Individual leaves reach impressive sizes on a plant that matures to 3 to 5 feet tall and wide, filling difficult spaces quickly and filling them beautifully. The overall effect reads as lush, tropical, and resort-like, the kind of look most Americans assume is only achievable in warm southern climates. But here is what makes this plant remarkable beyond its appearance. It is cold hardy to USDA Zone 3. Zone 3. Gardeners in northern Minnesota, upper New England, and the coldest agricultural regions of this country can grow this dramatic, bold plant and enjoy that full tropical aesthetic regardless of how brutal their winters become. It adapts to varying soil types without amendments. It thrives in partial to full shade without complaint. And it functions as a natural anchor plant that makes every surrounding plant look more deliberate and more thoughtfully placed simply by being nearby. Use it under mature trees, in woodland-style garden areas, or as a bold statement piece in any shaded border that has been resisting every plant you have tried. Have you ever purchased a plant with genuine hope, put it carefully in the ground, and then watched it slowly fail in the shade no matter what you tried? Tell me the name of that plant in the comments. I want to know, because I am almost certain it was not your fault. Plant number 6, Nepeta cat's pajamas. Nepeta exphoceni cat's pajamas. Lavender is one of the most beloved garden plants in American culture. The color is beautiful, the fragrance is remarkable, the flowing, relaxed habit it brings to a garden border is genuinely appealing. Lavender is also, for the majority of American gardeners, a chronic source of disappointment. It hates humidity, it resents cold, wet winters, it refuses to perform in clay soil, and the majority of the United States presents at least one of those 3 conditions to any gardener attempting to grow it. So the cycle plays out predictably. Plant lavender, watch it decline slowly, assume personal fault, purchase more lavender the following spring. The nursery appreciates your loyalty. Nepeta Cat's Pajamas delivers everything that makes lavender appealing and removes every reason lavender fails. Soft aromatic foliage, long cascading waves of purple-blue flowers, a relaxed flowing border presence that feels full and effortless, all without humidity sensitivity, without winter fragility, without clay soil drama. Cold hardy across USDA zones 3 through 8. It performs in the average American garden conditions that lavender simply cannot handle reliably. The bloom window is genuinely exceptional, starting in late spring and continuing in waves through summer and into early fall. Between those flower flushes, the silver-green foliage remains attractive and keeps your border looking intentional and complete. The aromatic foliage naturally discourages certain garden pests. Deer avoid it, rabbits avoid it. But pollinators cover those flower spikes from first bloom to last. Bees and butterflies working through your garden all season long, creating that living, moving energy that no decoration can replicate. Plant it at the front of borders, let it drift over the edges of raised beds, or run it along pathways where people will brush it gently and release that fragrance as they pass. If you are watching this and thinking about how different your garden could look with information like this, you are right. Subscribe now. This community exists precisely for gardeners who are finished wasting seasons on bad advice. Plant number 7. Agastache Blue Fortune. Agastache X Blue Fortune. Every August, across millions of American yards, the same quiet defeat unfolds. The energy and color from spring is completely gone. The pollinators have moved on because there is genuinely nothing left to offer them. The gardener who worked hard all spring is standing in their yard in late summer wondering why all that effort produced so little staying power. Agastache Blue Fortune was designed specifically to prevent that collapse. This plant does not even reach its full performance until midsummer. While surrounding perennials are fading and wilting in August heat, Agastache Blue Fortune sends up tall, elegant purple flower spikes that move gracefully in the breeze and pull more pollinators per square foot than almost any other plant available to American gardeners. Clouds of bees and butterflies work these spikes from late summer well into fall, producing that alive, dynamic garden energy that makes neighbors slow down on the sidewalk to look. Cold hardy across USDA zones 5 through 9, it genuinely thrives in heat, handles dry stretches without drama, and actually rewards less attention. This is a plant that performs better when you give it space and leave it alone. It self-seeds gently and naturally, quietly multiplying your garden display over years without ever becoming aggressive or difficult to manage. One plant becomes a small colony over time, expanding your late-season color at zero additional cost. Position it at the back of sunny borders where those tall spikes can rise dramatically above neighboring plants. Combine it with ornamental grasses for a natural meadow quality, or use it as the late-season anchor that holds your entire garden composition together. Do you intentionally try to bring pollinators into your garden, or is that something you have never actively considered? Tell me in the comments, because your answer might genuinely surprise you when you see what the rest of this community says. Plant number 8, Echinacea Magnus. Echinacea purpurea Magnus. American gardeners invest enormous amounts of money every single year on annual flowering plants that will be completely dead before the first hard frost arrives. One season of color, one transaction, gone. Echinacea Magnus operates on an entirely different principle, and it is one of the most thoroughly tested, most consistently proven perennials in American horticultural history. A North American native plant cold hardy across USDA zones 3 through 9, its rosy purple daisy form blooms with distinctive raised orange-brown centers appear in midsummer and persist for weeks. Butterflies, native bees, and hummingbirds work these flowers consistently through the entire bloom period. When flowering concludes, the seed heads remain standing through autumn and winter, feeding goldfinches and sparrows directly from your garden without bird feeders, without purchased seed, without any action from you. This plant is providing wildlife habitat in January without requiring a single winter task. It tolerates heat. It manages drought. It performs in poor soil. It spreads slowly and naturally over time, adding more coverage and more color to your borders every year without ever creating a management problem. Planted in full sun alongside ornamental grasses, Agastache, and Rudbeckia, it becomes part of a planting combination that looks genuinely professional and delivers genuine seasonal interest from June through February. Plant number 9, Rudbeckia Goldsturm. Rudbeckia fulgida Goldsturm. If a single perennial had to be named as the most proven, most reliable, most consistently successful plant across the widest range of American garden conditions, Rudbeckia Goldsturm would be an extremely strong candidate for that title. Cold hardy across USDA zones 3 through 9, it blooms from midsummer through autumn with bold golden yellow flowers surrounding deep black centers that glow in late afternoon sunlight in a way that looks deliberately theatrical. Full sun or partial shade, clay soil, sandy soil, or average garden soil, it handles all of it without adjustment, without amendment, without special treatment. It spreads naturally over time, gradually covering larger areas of your garden with zero input from you. The seed heads persist through winter, feeding birds while simultaneously providing structural interest to your garden during the coldest and quietest months of the year. This plant was not simply suited to American conditions, it was shaped by them. And while neighboring gardeners spend their weekends deadheading, dividing, and managing high-maintenance plants that still deliver mediocre results, Rudbeckia Goldsturm covers itself in hundreds of golden blooms and asks you for absolutely nothing in return. Final thought. Here is the core truth beneath everything covered in this video today. A difficult, high-maintenance garden is not evidence of a dedicated gardener. It is evidence that someone was handed the wrong plants. The most beautiful, most admired yards in America are not created by the hardest-working gardeners. They are created by gardeners who made better decisions at the plant selection stage, before the money changed hands and before the frustration began. These 9 perennials are not a shortcut. They are simply the correct answer, the answer the garden industry has never had a financial incentive to give you. Which of these 9 plants is going into your yard this season? Tell me in the comments right now. And if you are already growing any of them, share how they are performing in your specific garden, because this community learns from each other and your experience genuinely matters here. If this video just saved you from another season of overworked, overwatered, overcomplicated gardening, subscribe. It is free. It takes 1 second. And every single week I will be back with more honest plant information, more real solutions, and more answers that put the knowledge back where it belongs, in your hands. There is another video sitting right on your screen right now that pairs perfectly with everything you just learned. Go watch it, because the gardener who never stops learning is the gardener who never has to start over.